All right, so welcome to the leaders meeting for Camp Gordon. My name is Ian Walrath, and I am the camp director at Camp Gordon. I want to welcome everybody to this summer. We're going to have a great summer with our Cubs. Our theme this summer is space, and we're going to be traveling through space and trying to find our way home this summer. So we're going to have a good time with our Cubs this summer. It'll be a great time. So I want to just kind of go over some stuff this about getting ready for the summer and things to kind of expect for the summer. So that way you are prepared when you get here and there's no surprises. And as always, if you have questions, you can reach out and we'll do our best to answer them before we get to camp. Um, so if we move forward, from here. Some things to make sure that you have prepared for this summer when you get to camp. So make sure you have medical forms for everybody at camp, not just the scouts, but all the adults that are coming also need a medical form. Make sure that there's all signed in the right places as far as the parent signing for the scouts and the doctor's signature on part C is all there and filled out all three parts. For the immunization, I know that sometimes it's hard to come up with for the youth, it's pretty easy because we have those for school, but for the adults, sometimes it's hard to come up with an old immunization record. If you can just do your best to fill in the month and the year when you got those immunizations, that's really what we're looking for. And before you come, if you can make a copy of the front page of Part A for us to keep, that is where the parents sign the front, that packet on Part A, and that's kind of their release saying, yes, we know we're here and we're agreeing to participate in the event. So if you can make an extra copy of that for us, then we will keep that, and then you'll get all your medical forms back. It's usually best to use a copy of your medical form and not the originals. That way, your unit can keep the originals and you can make copies of that as you go. But we will return all medical forms at the end as long as somebody comes to pick those up. In the registration, you also see a link for an early release form. If you have any scouts that need to leave early, and they're going to leave with someone other than their parent, then I need that early release form signed by the parent. And before that scout's released to whoever's going to pick them up, then I need the leader to come up and they will also sign that before they leave. That way we know who's left camp, we know who they're supposed to go with, and the leader also know that they have left. So that form is available if you have anybody that needs to leave, even if they're going to leave and then come back later. We still need that form so we know that they can go with whoever they're going with. Happens a lot with like T-ball or Little League where they have a game and somebody else is going to pick them up from camp. So if you need those forms, those are available on the website as well. At the end of the week, we do a big barbecue, and that's part of your registration. So everybody who's attending camp gets that barbecue dinner, but we also invite parents to come out. We have a campfire that night and the barbecue, and it's kind of pickup. So if you have anybody who wants to come out as a guest, maybe committee members or whatever from your pack, um, have in mind those numbers ahead of time. I need those numbers by like Wednesday afternoon at the very latest so that we can prepare for that meal. Those extra tickets can be paid for at the trading post. We take cash or card there. And so just have it talk to your parents and see if anybody's going to come out and join you and for that night for dinner so that we can make sure we have enough food for everybody and we're taken care of. One of the big things that always gets forgotten is the water shoes for waterfront. We are in a lake, we're not in a pool, so it's really important that we are using water shoes. We won't let them in the water without something on their feet. It can be real water shoes, it can be an old pair of sneakers. Um, Crocs are not the best. I know we can flip them and put them in four-wheel mode, but they have a tendency to not stay on feet. So something that we can keep on their feet while they're in the waterfront. Which leads to the next one, which is no open-toed shoes in camp. Um, Sandals, flip-flops, Birkenstocks, things like that are not allowed in camp. You must have closed-toed shoes. So a pair of sneakers, a pair of hiking boots, um, Keds, something like that, but something that covers up the front of the foot and there aren't toes available out. Lots of sticks, lots of concrete, lots of rocks, and we don't want anybody getting hurt. So if my staff sees anybody, including adults, walking around with open-toed shoes, we will ask them to go put regular shoes on, and it's just not an option. It's part of our safety thing with the Department of Health. The other thing is to make sure you have appropriate clothing for the week. We never know what the weather's going to do. And so if it's hot, don't just pack jeans. If it's going to rain, bring a raincoat. Make sure you bring enough clothes to change. If it is a rainy week, extra socks always help. Make sure that your scouts and your adults are bringing the right clothing for whatever the weather is that week. And appropriate for whatever they're doing. So along with that is swimsuits. Swimsuits need to be appropriate for the age. They need to, and that's pretty much what we're saying. So a bikini is not a good choice for a Girl Cub Scout to wear to camp or an adult to wear to camp. Even a bikini top is not the best, but if like tankinis work for the boys, they need to be, longer swim shorts. Really short swim shorts don't make sense. So just make sure that the clothing that your scouts and your adults are bringing is appropriate for scouting and appropriate for the activities that we're doing at camp. Here's a quick look at how our week goes. Obviously, we start on Tuesday and we'll run through Friday. You have the option of staying over Friday night, and we invite you to stay over Friday night if you'd like to. There's no program on Saturday, but we do it is another night you can get in camping with your pack. So you are welcome to stay Friday night. During the week, I will ask leaders to let us know who's staying and who's not, just so we can plan for breakfast the next morning. But all of our activities run Tuesday through Friday. Um, we have the date when you show up, first day of camp, we'll have you check in and up by headquarters, there'll be a tent out back. You'll come and see me there, and we'll make sure that you have everybody here that's supposed to be here, and that we have everything we need for you to be here at camp. And then we will move on to the moving into your campsite. One of my staff will be your site guide for the week, and they will take you to your campsite and get you kind of started in and get you checked in at your campsite by checking all the equipment there and just kind of doing a walkthrough with you to make sure everything's good. Then we'll move on to our medical check. You go to the medical office, you'll meet our medical staff, and we'll check over medical forms and make sure everything's good. And then we'll head for a tour of camp. We'll show you where you're going to eat. We'll show you where all the activities are going to be. And then we'll get you down for a swim test. We encourage everyone, including adults, to take a swim test during the week because I can't let you in the water without one. Even if you just want to stand in the water in your feet, you have to at least get in the water and get a swim tag to go with that. So we encourage everybody to take swim tests. We have three different levels. We have non-swimmers, we have beginners, and we have swimmers. This year, something new is we have boating available to the Weebles and Arrow of Light, and for them to do that, they have to be able to pass the swimmer test. So we just have to make sure that everybody is where they need to be for swimming. So we'll do that at the beginning of the day. At 4 o'clock, I ask one leader from every pack to join me down at the Memorial Lodge, which is the building down by Waterfront, so that we can have a leaders meeting to talk about any last minute changes to the week, or anything that kind of give you some more detailed information about how things are going to go, more information about the program and our theme and how that's going to roll out for the week. Every night we have flags at 5:45. We love to have scouts help us with flags. Plus, it's a requirement for almost every level to participate in a flag ceremony. So it also fulfills one of the requirements for them, even though you probably do them in your site, but they love to help us with that. Then we'll do a quick chapel service every night at our chapel, about 5 minutes of a non-denominational service, and then we'll head to the dining hall for dinner. That runs all week long, Tuesday through Thursday. The schedule is pretty much the same. We'll have a campfire opening night, and then we'll head out to our campsites, and that'll be our end of our first day. Your scouts will be ready; they'll be done. They'll be maybe still bouncing off the walls a little bit, but they'll sleep good that night. The rest of the week, we have several different blocks of things going on. Every day starts out with early morning activities. So we have early morning swimming and early morning fishing as long as the weather permits. So obviously, we're not going to go swimming or fishing if there's thunderstorms. But at 7 o'clock every morning, those are available down at the waterfront and at Nature. And there is an award your scouts can win. It's a nice patch that shows that they took part in those adventures. And we'll give more information at the leaders meeting on Tuesday. Then we start with morning flags at 7:45 and breakfast is at 8. We'll have a quick leader meeting every morning right after breakfast. Again, just one person from each campsite or from each pack, just to give you any last minute stuff changes and any feedback on how we're doing. We'll have activities all morning long till lunch. Then we'll take a small break. You get about an hour of a siesta every day to just relax. We ask everybody to be in their campsites and not out and about because our program areas are all closed. The trading post is closed. Nothing's open during that time. Then we'll have another afternoon time for activities, and then we'll have our evening flags, dinner, and then we always have something going on after. This is the one from the year before, so this has some activities listed there, but we'll have something different for our space theme this year. So then every night we're done by 8:30. So 8:30, you guys can head back to your campsites. If you have activities you want to do with your pack, that's a good time to do those. If you want to do s'mores or whatever, there's a campfire ring in every site. And then we ask that lights be out by 10 p.m. so they get a little bit of sleep before we start the next day. And Friday's a little bit different. After lunch, we do some specific activities to wrap up our program. And so this one says Medieval Carnival, but ours will be more about how we're getting back home from space. And that'll be a completely separate thing from everybody else. One thing we're doing different this year is um, we are so we do rotations. So you have a schedule you'll follow, and your rotations will go through. We are working on having a rotation during the day or at the end of the week, where instead of by pack going to different stations, we're going to break up camp by cub level. So there will be a rotation so we'll get all the wolves together, and my staff will be help manning this with you. So you don't need to, all the help we can get with supervision is great, but we're going to be part of that. And we're going to take the wolves and they're going to go to rotations and they're going to work on advancements that are just for the wolves. And the same, the Weeblos will be together. The arrows and lights will be together. And I don't have how that's worked out 100% yet, but Audrey, our program director, is working on finishing that up. And so it's a little different than we've done in the past. And we're excited about it because then we can focus on some age specific things instead of maybe the activity helps the younger scouts but not the older ones, or the older but not the younger, trying to make it more specific to their levels. Every Wednesday night we will do an outpost that is for Weeblos and Arrow of Light scouts to go up on the hill and get a night of camping in, and it fulfills a lot of their requirements for moving up and camping. So that's open to them too. We'll talk more about that when you get here. But if you have Weeblos or Arrow of Light Scouts that want to go on the outpost, they do need to bring. We provide the tents, but they're going to need to be able to carry like their sleeping bag and just stuff just enough to get overnight up on the hill. There is a checklist for that in the leader's guide of stuff that those will have to bring up. We do need help with adults on that. So if you have a lot of Weeblos or Arrow of Light, kind of plan on being able to send an adult up with us. Where we have the most trouble is with the females. Um, we don't want to exclude anybody from it, but I don't have a lot of female staff on staff. And so when that happens, I will need some help from some of the female adult leaders to help with that overnight on the hill. And we'll help with that in any way we can. Um, so here's just a reminder, you all should be used to this by now with the new system. Um, we obviously have the ones that match up very well, and they're things that everybody can do, and we just adjust it to the grade levels that are, or the age levels that are there. But some things are just for specific levels, and that's what we're going to try to do a little better job this year of giving just the available times to work on things that are only for their age level. So we're going to work on that. We will have archery, BB guns, and slingshots for everybody. That's one of those things that we can only do at a council or district event. So we make sure we offer those every time we have camp. And again, we'll have the boating for the older scouts that can go out in the boats now. So a lot of them just line up really well. So we can we'll make sure that we hit as much of these requirements as we can. At the end of camp, we'll give you a list of all the requirements that we finish at camp. And that way, when you go home, you can start checking stuff off in their advancement and earn some belt loops while you're here. Remember, all your scouts move up June 1st, so it won't be what they've been working on. It's for next year's activities. So it can kind of give them a good head start towards their advancement for next year. Things to bring to camp. This list is in the leader's guide as well, but just really quick, I'm putting this up here. Just as a reminder to everybody of things they need to bring. Some things that get forgot a lot are towels, water bottles. We'll have water stations all over camp all week long for them to refill. But a water bottle is really important for them to bring. We don't provide throwaway water bottles, and we have a limited amount of cups available at those stations. So if they have a reusable water bottle, we can always refill those bottles and keep everybody hydrated throughout the week. Rain gear is another thing that sometimes gets forgotten. We're not if your pack decides you want to theme, again, this one was for a Western theme, but again, our theme is space. So if you want to come up with something space related and be part of that with costumes or stuff, we would love to see your scouts get involved in that and get all deep into our program. We're going to do a lot to get them there, but if you start that off together, that helps a lot as well. We will have our trading post open again. So bringing money for the trading post. There's snacks, there's clothing. Everybody, all the scouts got a t-shirt for free this year. So those will be ready to go when you get here. But we'll have other shirts and other sweatshirts and stuff like that available. Would they take cash, check, or credit cards? So just know that's available. Optional things to bring that aren't necessary but can be brought is a camera. Bug repellent's a great thing. I cannot provide bug repellent. I can't provide calamine lotion. I can't provide sunscreen lotion. Any of those things are things that I can't give your scouts that you should bring on your own. So just keep that in mind that those are not things that I have available. I can't, my medical office, the Department of Health considers those medications, and I can't give any of that stuff out. So those are things that you should bring for yourself and take care of your scouts as necessary. Musical instruments, if they've got any religious literature they want to bring. If you need an alarm clock, there's not power in our site, so you want to make sure that you bring something that's battery powered so that if you need that to get up in the morning, usually the Cub Scouts and the birds and the sun take care of that, but not always. There's a list of items to leave at home. All those things obviously make sense, especially for Cub Scouts, but just kind of a list there. Things that should not come to camp. And we put used cell phones on there. We do not have a camp-wide cell phone policy. We leave that up to the units to decide. I know that we have lots more scouts now that are have those. We have scouts that have them because they have split families or for whatever reasons. So I'm gonna leave that up to the leaders to decide. But my staff will be watching for inappropriate use of those things. And we ask you to help with that as well. So that's up to you whether you want to allow cell phones or not. We ask that there are no aerosol cans. So if you do bring bug repellent or sunscreen or any of that stuff, we ask it to be the pump kind or the cream kind and not in an aerosol can. The aerosol cans are flammable, they're combustible, and the materials in them destroy our tents. So it's really hard for Cubs to not use those near the tents. So we take those. We ask you just not to bring them at all. If anything's lost or stolen, we don't take responsibility for that. So if it's something important to that Cub Scout, I suggest we leave it at home. That way we don't take a chance on it being lost somewhere during our week and disappearing on them. There's nothing worse than losing your lucky, stone that's in your pocket or your favorite stuffed animal gets ruined because it got in the rain. Like I said, trading post is open. Lots of stuff just for Cubs, lots of stuff for parents, lots of snacks. Brandy's back in the trading post this summer, so just know it's there and available. It's pretty much open all day long except for meals and siesta. And so you can sneak in there. It's also air conditioned, so it's a nice little break if you need to get out of the heat for a few minutes. So feel free to come visit Brandy in the trading post. As far as the campsites go, we ask the layout's set for a reason. It's designed purposely, so we ask that we're not moving any tents or the canopies or the fire pits, that they stay where we've got them. If for some reason you feel that one needs to be moved, come see us and we will take care of that if it needs to be moved. Our flammable liquids policy. Um, if you, we highly suggest, first of all, there's so many battery operated options out there with LED lanterns and all that stuff. There, we don't really see a need for you to have flammable liquids in camp as like propane or white fuel or anything like that. But if your pack decides to bring like a propane lantern or something like that, the only thing you can have in your campsite is the canister connected to whatever you're using, and it has to stay connected to that unit. So if you're going to use a propane lantern, one canister attached to the lantern, it stays attached till it's out. If you have extras that you need, they need to be stored in a safe, a non-flammable spot. The best place for that, honestly, is like the trunk of your car. It's metal. No one can access it without a key, and that's the best place to keep that. But if that doesn't work for you, then you can talk to us and we can find another spot to store those for you. But we prefer they stay in your car. Honestly, we prefer they not come at all. Like I said, there's lots of options. We have lots of places to recharge stuff and things like that. If you plan on having a fire in your site, we have fire tools available. We will have those in your latrine. Each site has a latrine, and those tools will be hanging up in there. We ask that you have, every site will have a fire bucket set for each fire ring they have. We ask that if you're going to have a fire, that that fire bucket be filled at least halfway full of water and near the fire pit, and that water gets changed out regularly. It's a great place for mosquitoes and other bugs to breed, and we don't want your site turning into an infestation of mosquitoes just because the water sat too long. We will come through, and I don't really like the word inspection. We'll do campsite check-ins every day. Somebody will come through and check with you and your site, usually during siesta time, maybe a different time during, like in the evening or something. It's really for us to make sure that you got what you need. If you're having trouble with stuff, if there's issues, my site guides are there to help you have a better week at camp and make sure you have everything you need. Um, we'll be checking for cleanliness, that the tents don't have clothes hanging out of them, and that there's not food all over the place. Just that those are safety things, but it's really just a check in to make sure everything's going well for you during the week. Food and sites. It's okay to take a snack back to your site, but we can't store food in the site. We're here for a week, and there are lots of animals in our woods that live here the rest of the year. And if we have food out, I guarantee you they will come in and share it with you. And they may not leave you much there. And bringing animals into the site is also not safe for our scouts, because if they come in contact with any mammal, physically come in contact with any mammal during their time at camp, then we have the issue of potential rabies issues. And so then the Department of Health gets involved, and it's not a pretty thing. So if you're going to have food in your site, it needs to be eaten and then wrappers put in the garbage, and then the garbage brought up to where our garbage disposal is, so that it's not in your sites, because the animals will come visit you. So if you decide to do s'mores one night or something like that, that's great. Please feel free to store it in your car or with us. Take it to your site, use it, bring back all the trash and all the extra food, and don't leave it in your site. Finally, if you have any special requests for your stay, you want to do something special with your unit, you have an activity you want to do that you need some help with, feel free to talk to us. Our job is to make your summer great. Our job is to make sure that you have a great time and your scouts have a great time. And so we will help any way we can. So if you want to do a cooking thing, but you need more space than just our little fire ring, we can help you out in Scoutcraft. If you've got a project you want to do with your scouts and handicraft, we can make that happen. You just need to talk with us and see what we can do to make that work for you. So, again, we're here to make your week what you want it to be, and we'll do everything we can to help you with that. And that's it. Um, Any questions at all?
Um, at one time they talked about for advancement that it was going to be automatically put on, but it sounds like they're not doing that for the Cubs.
Actually, I take that back. So, um, I have to double check with Mark. In the past, Black Pug has not had a way for us to do Cubs to automatically upload things. That I think that has changed. Again, don't take my word for it. I will follow up and I'll have an answer for you at the leader meeting on Tuesday. Um, but I think that changed so that Mark can upload those things automatically into the system. And so it should show everything they complete in Blackplug for you. But again, I'll verify that and make sure that that's in fact what's going to happen. Um,
Okay, because
advanced,
I know in the past kids get tired and they don't end up going to all of the
right.
activities. So I'm just wondering how you're going to keep track of all of that. So
So
try
what
to,
we're going to do is we're going to give you a list of if your scouts attended all the sessions, here's what they could have done. And as you know, the new advancement is designed to be done in a very short amount of time.
yep,
So our goal is that when we go to a station, whatever we're doing is going to complete or as complete as it can be at camp about one of the adventure loops.
okay,
And so it's going to be kind of up to you as you're with your pack of okay, we didn't do this because we needed a break. And so we'll say, we'll give you a full list of if, on these days we did these things. And so you'll be able to see that. And that may be the issue we have with uploading is that it, we're not keeping track like we do with Scouts BSA where we're
yeah,
checking off Scouts.
yeah. I wasn't quite sure how you would be able to do that.
Yeah.
The troops are different.
We're just, I think there's a way to do it. I just don't think that we're prepared to do that at this point to be able to keep track of every scout that comes through and what they completed and what they didn't.
Yeah,
Uh, it's just too fast paced for that.
yeah. Okay, and then should they bring fishing poles? They ask me every year, but I
Yeah.
know, okay, it is
So
for them.
the fishing poles that we have available are literally cane poles.
Hmm.
And they have pretty good luck with those. If you have scouts that want to bring their own fishing poles, they're welcome to. But depending on how many people are on the dock, they may be asked not to use it during that time and use a different pole.
Okay,
Because if they're casting, that means I can't put somebody behind them fishing in the other direction. And so it really will depend on how many people are there, and it will be up to my staff who are working the dock at that time on whether it's safe to use their own pole or not.
okay.
One last piece of information I want to add out there. I know that so a change this year was that we required every single adult, even the parents, to complete youth protection training. Um, and I think that's a great thing. I think everybody should have done that, no matter whether they're a parent or not. But I believe that I know that I've talked to some units that have been like, okay, well, we haven't registered all of our adults yet because I don't have those from them yet. Um, I'm going to set a cutoff date of June 29th to have all those adults in. Otherwise, I can't guarantee they have a place to stay. Crystal's currently working on getting our campsites assignments done. And as soon as those are done, we'll let everybody know so you can go on and check to see what site you're in. But if I don't have all the adults in by June 29th, I may not have a spot for them because of the way things fit together. So, um, the other thing I need from people, if you have this problem, is if you have age differences big enough that you're gonna, let's say, you're bringing three tigers and five AOLs. Well, the AOL and the tiger can't share a tent. And so, if you're going to run into those situations, if you email me or email Crystal, we can incorporate that into our site assignments so that you don't end up a tent short just because of those age differences that you have going on. Now, the parents can stay with their own scouts. That still is good in Cub Scouts, just not in Scouts BSA. But if you're going to be having scouts share tents and you're going to run into that issue, we need to know so that way we're not. Um, counting on a tent that we need an extra one for just because of those age differences. Any other questions?
Yeah, just a quick one
Sure.
for the whole crowd of us here.
Yeah, I'm
That's
recording
okay.
it, so somebody's gonna watch it.
That's okay. So I'm coming from a small unit. Like
Yeah.
it's me and my wife, our son, and one other scout coming. You got to mute that, honey. One other scout that's coming. That's his mom's gonna drop him off. He's leaving him with us. And is there going to be a time that we can find out what pack that's going to be closest to us, so that I can contact those folks and
Yeah.
just let them know that,
So
hey, we're with you guys.
yeah, we're hoping to actually have the site assignments all done this weekend. And then if you go back onto the calendar on the website and scroll to the bottom, it shows every campsite and what units assigned to it. So you'll see the list of the other packs that are going to be sharing your site with you. And so then you can kind of go from there. If you're not sure how to contact them, your DE is the best person to reach out to go, hey, I'd like to talk to the leader from Pack 86 and because we're camping with them and kind of go from there.
Got it. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we also when we're doing the site assignments, we also try to make sure that we are we look at how the campsite's laid out so that we try to make it so that you're not mixed in with, if you're in a site with a group of 18, that you kind of have your own space, your three tents are all in the same spot or your four tents. So Alex, like that situation where you have you, your wife, your scout, and another scout, that's one of those that if you send me a quick email and just go, hey, we have two adults and two scouts, but we're going to need, three tents for that. That way we don't count because on paper that looks like two parents and two scouts. And so we go, okay, that's going to be two tents. So that's a perfect example of why you should send us a quick email and go, hey, here we go. Because I don't, we can't pair up that way. All right. Anything else? All right. If not, then I'm going to end the meeting. Feel free to reach out to us at any time if you have questions. I will quickly answer them as much as I can. I am a teacher, so I'm usually not available till after 3. But so if you don't get an answer right off the bat, you know why. A lot of people have a tendency to think that this is my full-time job, and it's not. So if you email me at 8 in the morning, you may not get an answer till that afternoon or that evening. But I will get back to you as quickly as I can. So. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody this summer, and we'll see everybody on July, what is it, the 8th, July 8th. So have a good couple next few weeks, and we'll see everybody at camp.